All right, everybody, how we doing out there? Welcome to Ready, Set Crypto today, Wednesday, the 27th of October, as we correct down a couple of percent on crypto. We're kind of a red day going on with a couple of exceptions that we'll talk about here today. Welcome aboard, everybody. Glad to see you out there and joining us here in today's live stream. We'll be here for about the next half hour or so. And we want to know where you're coming in from today. And if you could do us a big favor, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button so we get a little engagement and let everybody know that we are live. So let us know where you're coming in from, and we'll get things kicked off here shortly.
Who are you calling short?
Oh, okay.
Hello.
We got the Gold Coast in Australia coming in. We have Arian from Ireland. We have Buckhorn coming in from Arkansas. Did I just say Arkansas? Oh my God. I apologize. Arkansas. Good Lord. We have Ray coming in from the Netherlands. Rajith, how you doing, man? We have Minnesota coming in through Crypto Stacks. We have Rockville, Maryland. Memphis, Tennessee. Lived there for 2 years out in Germantown. We have India, Oregon, Radium. Can you look at Radium? Istanbul was Constantinople. We have Boston, Switzerland. Can't use the word short today. Happy Shiba Day. Yeah, we'll talk about that one later. We have the Netherlands. We got a whole crowd of folks on board here today. And welcome aboard, everybody. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button if you could, please, so you let everybody else know that we're on board. So welcome aboard. We are Ready, Set Crypto. We'll be here again, like I said, for about the next half hour. Usually the way that this runs is we do a little shit posting to get things started off, and then usually Mav will start out with kind of the State of the Union, and then we'll follow that up with, I'll take a look at the charts. If you want to get your coin in, do it quick. Don't do it at the end, because we got to go. We got things to do, places to be. So get your coins in. So with that, have fun, folks. Let us know where you're coming in from. Hit this thumbs up button, and Mav, it's all yours.
All right, let's jump right into it with today's weather report. I'm kidding. So obviously, it's a red day for most coins. Maybe not a particular dog one. We'll get to that in a sec. But certainly for Bitcoin, let's see, it's about 5% on the daily chart down, and the rest of the market is pretty red. So let's address that really quickly. I would say that this, yeah, it's not fun to see, especially after we just hit all-time high, all-time euphoria exactly a week ago. But this is exactly what happened back in April. If we rewind the clock back to April, I think it was 13th, when we hit the last all-time high, 63,000. Immediately afterwards, over the course of the next about 2 weeks or so, we corrected down to 48,000. So this is exactly what happens every time we hit a new all-time high, unfortunately, is that, we try to keep the momentum going, but unfortunately, new all-time highs get the sort of people into the door that have very weak, paper hands. They are not capable of holding during any sort of correction. So they see 1% down, and maybe they're used to, the equities market. And here in crypto, volatility is a feature, not a bug. So, moves like 5% in a day, that's normal. That is completely nominal for this space. And it's completely nominal for us to see a correction like this immediately following a new all-time high. If we rewind the clocks back to October 1st of this month, we were at 43,000. So even with today's correction to 58 so far, we're still up $15,000 on Bitcoin for the month. Bitcoin didn't even hit $15,000 until I would say, what was it, like December of last year? Yeah, right in the middle of November of last year. So, we are doing just fine in terms of where Bitcoin's at. And certainly, the altcoins, some of them are taking this a little harder than others. But honestly, I think this is okay. This is the sort of correction where we just need to go through these forest fires every now and then. Now, does this mean that we're going to go through another 4 months of this stuff? Are we going to repeat the same cycle that we just went through, where there was a brief period of euphoria followed by just this general ping-ponging back and forth between, Bitcoin in the 40s or so, or maybe the 50s? We'll see. I think there's still a lot of really good reasons that we talked about last week as to why Bitcoin hit the all-time high, why the crypto market's very strong right now, why even with a correction like today's, things are still looking up. I think if we take the bigger picture here, if we look longer down the road, we're doing just fine. There is so many reasons to be liking crypto right now, and so many reasons to be looking at today like, hey, this is a garage sale. This is, a temporary sale on all those cryptos that people were complaining just a week ago that, oh man, I missed out. The Bitcoin hit a new all-time high and the train left the station without me. Well, here we are back in the 50s. And those same people are going to say, well, maybe I'll just keep waiting, or, I don't know what I'm going to do. So let the fence sitters do what they're going to do, and let the people who panic sell or panic buy do what they're going to do. Rather than doing any of that, we would much rather you look at the field of play here and make very rational, dispassionate decisions. Make the sort of decisions that are going to be setting you up for the long term. Don't just hodl, like without thought. Put some effort into it. If you're looking to stack sats, this is the time to DCA. If you're looking to, maybe move into an altcoin portfolio, this is a potential time where, hey, Bitcoin's no longer leading the charge. Maybe it's going to fall to the altcoins to start, making up momentum. Certainly, as we're seeing today, it was Shiba up 66% on the daily chart. That is indicator of, hey, the market's not dead. It's not, it's having a bad day, obviously, but not in all cases. There's still, there's still buy side pressure. There's still some people out there that are not ready to let go of this notion that, hey, this is crypto, and a week from now, we could be back into a very bullish, maybe altcoin driven market. So I think we got to take today in stride, just like we did a week ago with the all-time high. Hey, that was fun. That was cool to see. But as we were talking about at the time, you can go back to our stream. We were kind of hesitant to say that this is the start of some big, push towards 100K or something like that. It was much more likely the case that Bitcoin's going to lead the charge. Then we're going to see the capital flow into the altcoins or flow into the stable coins and wait for a pullback, waiting for good buy opportunities on some of these quality projects that have really come out in the past year. The projects that are leading DeFi right now, the projects that are, challenging Ethereum's position as number two, or, the go-to smart contract platform. The projects out there that are leading the new wave of NFTs out there, all of which we've been talking about. These are all excellent opportunities to hedge against what Bitcoin's done and to potentially make more returns on your portfolio in the short term versus just holding, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. So this is the nature of this market, guys. This is what it does. We can't be surprised or, disappointed or fearful of today. We can only look at this as an opportunity to say, how can we think 2 steps ahead of this and say, okay, where is the market going to go for the rest of this year? where is it going to go into 2022? What's going to be leading the charge? What's going to be the catalyst for the next move higher? And to me, it's not much has changed there, but I think that's the opportunity to think about diversification or think about, the sort of catalyst that's going to push Bitcoin up higher, et cetera. So I think that's a pretty good state of today's market. Obviously, there's some news events we could get into, or some projects we could talk about. But honestly, I think we're better off being served by looking at some of the technical analysis that Doc's got, because honestly, today is a pretty technical day. It's not like there's some big thing happening that's going to push Bitcoin down to 30,000 or something like that. It's just not happening. And instead, I think we should be looking ahead, as I said, to the future and where we can use today as an opportunity to get in on some good positions. So, Doc, over to you. Let's talk about charts.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's swap over to the charts. Let's see. No, that's not the right chart, unfortunately. Oh man, this is what happens every time we have. I'm gonna have to do this manually here. Hang on a second. And that means that I have to switch over my magic. Apologize for this, guys. I have to switch over my magic pen. Hang on a second here. So one of the first things that we want to look at here is Bitcoin versus the US dollar. And give me a second here. Got to talk with a pen. I can't do it any other way. Okay, so there we go. So Bitcoin versus the US dollar, we have this on the daily chart right now. And what we're looking at here is when we came off the bottom in early October, right? So everybody's wondering, oh no, what's going to happen here? This was about a 50% fib retracement of this move here. So this puts in the major higher low that we needed. So we rocketed higher, okay, into exhaustion. And so there's a pain, there's a price to be paid for something like that when that occurs. So when we do that, we look at the swing from the top to the bottom and we measure off fib retracements. Now, what I want to see happen here is I don't want to see the price trade below about 52.5. 52.5, everything's good until it does that, right? So right now we have a small daily downtrend, but if you understand fractals, if you understand multiple time frames, you'll also understand that this is just a pullback on the weekly chart. So what looks like the beginning of death to this chart on the daily chart is just an overreaction. This is just a pullback because we do have an exhaustion signal down here on the weekly chart. So this needs to probably consolidate around for the next few weeks. And guess what, folks? This creates a cup with handle pattern. This is a classic chart pattern. Price rockets up to all-time highs or just above that point, and then consolidates. It traps all the newbies in here, chops them out, and this thing will take off when everybody is no longer looking for this. This is so classic. The measured move on this is the depth of the cup, which leads us to about 100,000. So we'll see if we actually get there. I don't think we'll get there by the end of the year, but it's certainly possible to do sometime in 2022. So I would expect to see probably the month of November, maybe even December, we're just consolidating around in this range from maybe 56 up to 66,000, maybe a 10,000 point range. Now, Ethereum actually looks a lot better than that. It's consolidating, but it's in better shape right now for the next breakout. So with that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move over to some of the requests. I've got actually a number of these, and I'll try to go through them really quickly. And some of these I'm not familiar with, but we'll go ahead and look at these. Now, this is Secret Network. This is on the daily chart. This one actually looks really good. We talked about this one last week. This is a bull flag. This one's not been around for a while, but notice what's happening with the volume. The volume is all good. So this one is definitely trending to the upside. If we go out to the weekly chart, we can see that this is a kind of the same old cup pattern with not much of a handle, and this is breaking out. In fact, you could say that this is breaking out almost to the measured move. These measured moves can go sometimes very quickly, but this one does look good. I don't have a problem with that one. FTM is one that we have on our top 20 list here. This is FTM, Phantom versus the US dollar. This one does look very good. So this is an example of assets that I want you to look for pullbacks in. Don't look for something which is doing this, right? And say, where should I buy? Just stay away from something like that. What you should do is look for something that's heading higher. If you want to gain altitude in your account, look for something that's heading higher and look for a pullback in there. It's really simple. It's a simple process. What gets shared on social media is that something in a downtrend, oh, this is great because you'll be able to get more at cheaper. Well, what is low can go lower. And we certainly found out about that between 2018 and 2020, right? So Phantom looks really good. Just look for a pullback on that and you're in good shape. So KAD, I am not familiar with this one. This is Kadena. And this one is relatively new, and I'm going to have to back this one up here because it started to move. Now, what I like about this one, and I've never seen this chart before until like right now, but I'm seeing the volume coming into this, and notice what's happening with the price. Now, this is in exhaustion. I would not chase this up here. And what I would wait for is something on the weekly chart to show a little bit more consolidation up here. It's exhausted across the board, this Kadena. But what I would like to see is this thing trading within a relatively tight range. I don't want to see this thing give back all of this and go all the way back down to the swing test at 250. But this looks like a good chart, looks like a good candidate. Sticking its head up. Hopefully it's not a whack-a-mole kind of move where it gets whacked all the way back down. And I guess my interest in this one is going to be dependent upon how tight this consolidation is up here. The tighter, the better. If it goes all the way back down to here, probably the move is over. All right, so Digibyte is the next one. We always get requests for Digibyte. The Digibyte guys are here today in force. And unfortunately, this does not look like one of the better ones. So we do have good ones that are uptrending or looking for pullbacks. This is an example of something that you want to avoid. And I probably said the same thing last week, right? So this one is just consolidating. But what I want is I want consolidations up here. I want consolidations up here, and I want to see breakouts or pullbacks up here, not consolidating down here, because what this looks like is a bear flag, guys. So just a warning for those in Digibyte. And who knows? 3 months from now, this thing could be screaming higher, and, I'm going to look foolish for this. But my first instinct on this one is that this is something that's heading lower and consolidating. This is a continuation pattern. Consolidations are continuation patterns. So you got to ask yourself, where is the price coming from? Is it heading higher or lower? Right now it's heading lower. I hate to say that because I don't want to bum anybody out, but that's, I'm going to call it like I see it, guys. All right. Luna versus the US dollar. Here's an example of something heading higher. It's kind of sloppy. It hasn't been around for very long. It's getting to be very volatile. And you know what they say about volatility in crypto, right? There we go. So this one is extremely volatile right now. So it's, it's consolidating, it's doing its job, but it's getting kind of sloppy. So I want to see this tighten up.
You were rocking out to the music.
Whoa, okay. All right. Sorry about that. So this one's getting a little sloppy here. So just be careful of that and wait for it to tighten up. Wait for it to tighten up. All right. So that's Luna. Next thing we want to go to is Floki. Oh, Floki. What a show. Now, this one just doesn't have any, I don't know what to say about this one. There's no data for me to go off of. So this has not been around. I'll look at the Wrapped Ether one. This one's been around a little longer. Looks pretty strong on Wrapped Ether. Okay. But, there's nothing I can really look at here and make any kind of judgment on. Okay. Sorry about that. Give it another couple of weeks. All right, halfway through the list, here we go. I'm going to speed up. This is GRT. GRT is an example of something that we want to avoid. Remember, this is a consolidation pattern. Which way is it coming from? Consolidation patterns are continuation. It's continuing from this direction. So it's probably going to break in this direction. Don't like it. Okay, so that's growth point. Again, I'm not being religious about this. I'm just, calling it as I see it. So Kobe, I don't know what the ticker is for this one. Somebody requested Kobe. I don't know if this is a stock. I don't seem to have the ticker available to me. I don't know if it's the beef. I don't know if it's the basketball player. I don't have anything to chart for this one. Coin is the same thing. I think this is Coinbase. This is the stock here on Coinbase. So the last couple of days, this is actually the last couple of weeks, has been pretty good for Coinbase. This is moving to consolidation. Okay, so this is more of this is kind of the same thing here. We're getting kind of a rounded base, right? So up to this point, it was in a downtrend. It's starting to work into an uptrend. So range expansion, go into range contraction, watch for the break above here. This is kind of a rounded base. If it breaks above 340, good luck to you. I don't like trading stocks that are that expensive, but whatever you can do. Okay, let's see if I can find 1 inch. 1 inch USDT. There we go. Pretty strong day. Look at the volume coming in on 1 inch. Okay, so this is one. And here's a good example. This is a good example of kind of this basing pattern here. This one was heading lower. So if you'd asked me about this one a week ago, let's do the hard right edge on this. This one's heading lower. I'd say avoid this. Avoid this until it gets over 4. Once it gets over 4, there you go. And then boom, this is what happens. It's moved into an uptrend. And once it moves into an uptrend, it catches attention from everybody. All right, so 1 inch is looking good. Looks like the very beginning of a trend. ORN versus Tether. So ORN versus Tether, this thing is not going anywhere. It's consolidating. It's still heading down. I don't like this. There's a lot of charts that I pointed out today. Like Cardano is another one of those. Cardano is ADA. Looks exactly the same as this. And just, it's just consolidating and breaking to the downside on that. That's not what I want to see. I want to see something in a serious uptrend pulling back. There's a big difference between the two. Okay, so next one, we got 2 left here, and then we're going to have to move on. So here's Cadena. Did we already look at this one? Yeah, we did. Okay. We already looked at this one. So I wrote this down twice. Sorry about that. Okay. Last one for here is HOD, Hollow, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Here is one. Now this is for perspective. Let's pull down to a weekly chart. This is the same kind of problem that we have, right? In a weekly chart, this is making lower highs, lower lows. And there's a big question mark out here. Which direction is this going? Right now, it's kind of moving lower. But if it's able to break above this level, then you've got a higher low, higher high. Boom. There you go. Probably you'll see volume coming into this at that point. So stay out of this until the price gets over 0.14. What's that? 1.4 cents versus the US dollar. There you go. Okay. So that's it for the TA section of today. Let me throw this thing over here and we are back live. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And, we do this every week. So if you have any other questions that we have, or you can hit us up in our Discord and ask for a review on a certain coin that you have, it's no problem to do that. So this is what we're here for.
Yeah, Doc, did you see the question about you taking profit on Shiba?
Yeah, I haven't talked about Shiba. No, I'm gonna, Shiba is one of these things where I'm probably gonna hold this thing like forever. We got on in this one like down here, and as this broke above the basing pattern and the volume started coming in, we got in somewhere around in this area here. I think it was somewhere like the 0.00002 cents or something like that. And I'm going to hold this thing like literally forever. I don't care if it dumps and goes to zero. If it actually trades up to $1, then I'm done. That's my thought on Shiba. And I had the same thought on Digitex for that. And we all know we almost got there. We got about halfway there on Digitex to getting to $1, but no bueno.
Yeah, Shiba is up over 800% for the month at this point.
Yeah, and it's going to get pounded back down. And it's just like what happened with Dogecoin. Dogecoin shot up and then it got pounded back down. And it's just, if there's no intrinsic value to it, it's just, it's just how many people you can get to chase after it.
Yeah, but what we're seeing today, why SHIB is dominating this market while everything is going down, is there has been a lot of recent listings of SHIB on exchanges, and that has helped with access. There was a question if SHIB crashed some of the exchanges today, like Coinbase went down. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that could be the case. SHIB is also focusing on doing Shiboshi NFTs, and they also have lots of open interest right now on platforms such as OKX, Wabi, and FTX. So, it's again the flavor of the month right now. I think Doc is absolutely correct that we're going to see a correction on SHIB pretty soon here. But at the same time, for it to break into it's in the top 10 right now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's number 11.
That's pretty impressive for something to do. I think it's like 20 million% for the year or something to that effect. But yeah, I think we're just going to see stuff like that happen more and more. This is the nature of the crypto markets. We won't always see the most sensical things, but that is kind of a nice feature of the space. It doesn't have to make sense. All that it makes sense is, is it something that people can rally behind, be the joke or the technology or whatever. That's I'm sure there's going to be a case study at some point about why meme coins are some of the hottest things that have happened this year. But at the same time, there's not always going to be a reason or a why. All that there's going to be is price action. And like Doc talks about, that's what you should be using as your source of truth more than anything. So one other question Slade asked was a really good one about parachains. And parachains are part of the Polkadot ecosystem. So about 2 weeks ago, we saw Polkadot pop, and that was in response to parachain auctions. In particular, like the some of the ones he listed were, let's see, Moonbeam and Asala, or some I'm watching, as well as A-Star. Those are all excellent choices for when parachain auctions go live starting November 11th. And then every 7 days, they're going to be releasing some new ones. I have to look into that more. I'm going to make that one of the newsletter topics in the coming weeks. But yeah, I think there's excellent opportunities there because you're able to make some like really good passive income on those. And especially like Asala, I think is the one I'm liking the most right now. I also kind of like Moonbeam, but I didn't see that the rewards were going to be as good, but it's something that kind of it fluctuates per day. So anyways, I hope that kind of answers your question, Slade. I think it's a great opportunity right now, especially as we are getting back into smart contract platforms dominating the conversation. People have been talking about stuff like Harmony and some of the other smart contract platforms out there right now. And yeah, I think there's every reason to be betting on those right now because now that Bitcoin is rising higher and higher, it's capable of hitting a new all-time high within the time span of 4 months now. People are going to start increasingly looking at Ethereum. I keep seeing articles saying like, oh, ETH is going to 8,000 within the next year or 10,000 or something like that. And that's cool. There's absolutely every reason that's going to happen. But at the same time, people are going to be asking, what's the next Ethereum? What's going to be, what's going to take the bronze medal, if you will? Because I think that space has been fought over repeatedly over the last couple of years.
Haven't we been asking that same question for the last 4 years?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really nothing. The more we change, the more this stays the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that we're getting closer and closer to an actual physical backed Bitcoin ETF with the futures ETF having been passed last week, as we talked about last week, the Ethereum ETF is probably right around the corner then. And so once both of those things come to pass, people are going to be asking, oh, well, where's the Polkadot ETF, or where's the, I don't know, there probably won't be a Ripple ETF unless they get, everything squared away with the SEC, or maybe, where's the Dogecoin or Shiba ETF? This is quickly going to become a space that's dominated by financialization and, increased access to financial products for retail investors. And that's a really good thing. That's the sort of adoption and ease of access that we've been begging and waiting for years. It's going to change the space. Absolutely. It's going to change the nature of the space, and not everybody's for that. I understand that, but it will bring in lots of capital and access to the space for a lot of people who need it. So, it's a give and take. Everything has pros and cons, but in this case, what it's going to mean for those of us who have been around the block, those of us who are in crypto today, is that our holdings are going to increase multiple times over, because there's going to be increasing demand for limited supply assets that are inherently deflationary in nature. So that right there is the easiest economic thesis you could ever understand about crypto as to why number goes up. So anyways, guys, don't look at today's, days like today as, this big referendum on, oh no, Bitcoin's going to pull back. It's all over. It was all a Ponzi scheme all along. No, this is, I think it was someone said in the chat here that this is an indicator of a healthy market, and I couldn't agree more. This is sort of us just taking a nice little breather before we, get our house in order, get ready to chase new highs, and that's a good thing. That's what we want to see. That's something that I don't even think the larger markets do quite well all the time. So anyways, is there anything else you want to talk about today?
No, just really quick. Markets move in a manner. I mean, the longer that you guys are around any kind of financial market, what you will find is that markets move in a manner so as to screw the greatest number of people at any given time, because people work in their own self-interest and they also panic in their own self-interest. And so what happens is we go through these waves of activity like this, and the greater number will make the wrong decision. So it does take a while for you to understand how markets move. And so anytime we get to like peak, complacency and peak excitement like this, we're always going to have a little bit of watershed environment like this, where we're going to just winnow out, the wheat from the chaff, or as they say, the fly shit from the pepper. So this always happens every time that we have a move like this. So get used to it. As they say, Bitcoin is very volatile.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said. Yep. So guys, hope today has been a little bit insightful. If you're panicking a little bit, if you're new to the space, I totally understand how you're feeling, but at the same time, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Even if you bought at the top, everybody earns that trophy at some point, and especially here in the crypto space, but that's okay. We all learn from these mistakes. That's what this community, this channel is here to do. And if you haven't joined our Discord or some of our other free communities, such as Ready Set Trade or Ready Set Vision, which we just took off, the wall. So it is free to access now again, because we were just getting too many signups there. So it is free to access. It's free to join. So I would love to see you on there. That's where you can learn about on-chain analysis. And that's sort of like the hot new thing in the crypto space in terms of, how do you outsmart the market? How do you look at it from a big picture view? How do you use blockchain data to make predictive analysis as to what is going to happen? How does, the number of miners or the number of active addresses influence what is going on between supply and demand in the crypto markets? It's something that we're helping write the book on. It's something that I think is going to be, a big thing here in a short amount of time. And if you want to get in before sort of the herd arrives, ReadySet Vision is your best resource for that right now. So anyways, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thanks for being a part of this stream. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate you being part of this community. And yeah, just take care out there. Stay safe, stay rational, stay dispassionate. But yeah, Doc, any last words?
No, I just want to thank everybody for showing up here. We have a great crowd that comes every week and, pushes us and makes us aware of new assets and everything like that. So I want to encourage you guys now. Next week, I think we are not going to be here. Is that right?
That sounds right. We're going to take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a break for next week. Mav is going to be doing a little travel, but we will be back in 2 weeks from now. So come back in a couple of weeks and bring a whole pile of, or questions and whatever you want to talk about. We will be here. We've been here for the last, 4 years now. So we'll be here for a while yet. So thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. And we good? All right, yeah. We're good. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night. Guys. Everybody be good now.
All right, see you guys.
One of these so-called healthy